Alright, man, I'm back with the crime slash scary videos, man. It's been a long awaited time. You feel me? Been trying to reconstruct my brand really with my content, short form, long form, whatever. It's a whole little rant session that I'm not going to get into. But today we got chills, the small towns where people kept disappearing. Let's dive in. Let's see what he's talking about, man. Hopefully my town not on here.
A small town is supposed to feel safe, a familiar place with familiar faces, a place where nothing goes unnoticed, but something strange is going on.
Oh, South Carolina? Hold on, yeah, I need to see this.
These towns, people keep disappearing, not once, not twice, but over and over again. Some are found
How far is
dead,
that from
but
me?
many are never seen again. Our first story takes us to the island town of Piha, New Zealand. New Zealand is ranked one of the safest countries in the world. So why do people keep vanishing from this beach town?
2.5 hours
Over
for
the
me.
past 3 decades, 6 people have gone missing here without a trace. This small community of 1,300 people has its claim to fame as a surf capital. Unfortunately, Piha also possesses a reputation beneath its magnificent scenery. Its location creates strong rip currents which have been proven to be unpredictable. As a result, several people have been swept out to sea, sometimes never to be recovered. What is considered case zero is that of Quentin Godwin, an 18-year-old from Auckland. Quentin was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and was known to have a deep struggle with the illness. In May 1992, Quentin left a note indicating he intended to harm himself at Pia. However, he later got a ride from a local driver back home, stating he had second thoughts and wished to return to his family. Days later, Quentin left home again to attend his shift at a supermarket in Piha, and he was never seen again. A search failed to find Quentin or any sign of him. Because of his history, it was widely theorized he went ahead with his previous intentions from days before. However, Quentin's family disputes this theory. The idea that he intentionally jumped into the ocean is also disputed by expert Dr. Jonathan Weber. Because of the way the tides work, people who have drowned at Pia have had their bodies or clothes wash up at nearby coastlines north of the beach within a period of 2 weeks. While it is entirely possible for people to completely disappear beneath the waves, this is considered unlikely. During a 2014 inquest into missing persons in New Zealand, an anonymous source spoke with investigators claiming a friend had confessed to accidentally hitting someone with their car on the road near Piha. Instead of reporting the incident, the man and 3 other friends buried the body at nearby Langhung Beach. Unfortunately, there has been no evidence uncovered to provide credibility to these claims, and it is speculated to either be misidentification or a complete fabrication. There have been other dubious claims regarding Quentin's case, including a woman saying she was Quentin's wife, that he had intentionally disappeared and the two had a child together. Of course, this was found to be completely false. As of 2026, Quentin Godwin remains listed as missing, but considered deceased by investigators. What actually happened to him remains unknown. Between 2012 and 2020, a further 4 more people went missing in the Piha area. 42-year-old Sherry Vouston was last seen driving down Log Race Road on December 22, 2012, a place she often visited to take a walk around the Mercer Bay Loop. It was her favorite spot for a casual walk or exercise run, and she always made sure to pick daisies along the way to bring home to her daughter. A few hours later, a passerby discovered her car on the side of the road, the doors unlocked and windows rolled down. Search and rescue teams, along with volunteers, scoured the area by land, sea, and air, but she was never found. While it was believed she suffered an accidental fall from the cliffs, they were unable to locate her at the bottom. Furthermore, there was no evidence she was a victim to foul play. In the end, investigators stated they believe she fell from a great height and into the ocean. 5 years later, police received a call from concerned friends stating Kim Bambus had failed to return home. She left the morning of March 24th on foot to a nearby store to buy snacks and didn't come back. Her friends and roommates drove up and down the route, but she was nowhere to be found. Police obtained CCTV footage of Kim at the supermarket, confirming she had been there. What happened after she left, though, remains unknown. On March 12, 2019, police received reports of an abandoned car in the Piha area. During a search of the vehicle, they linked the car to Gochuan Wu, who had earlier been reported missing by a friend, a student from China. Wu had recently gone through a rough breakup and was reported to be struggling with depression as a result. His laptop was found inside the car, and upon inspecting its content, police announced they believed his disappearance was related to him taking his own life. Once again, despite an extensive search, Wu was never located, nor was his body ever recovered. In the most recent example, French tourist Eloy Roland was reported missing after he failed to contact family following a planned hike. Eloy was due to return to France in only a few days, having booked a sooner flight than planned. According to his family, he embarked on this excursion to collect sand from the Piha beach to bring back home. Witnesses told police they passed Eloy along the trail, and there appeared to be no signs for concern in his demeanor. The trail is known to be surrounded by thick brush, and police have since speculated he became lost in the trees after he ventured off the trail. By far the most discussed and highly controversial case is that of Irina Asher. Born on July 17, 1978, Irina was a young model who was studying to become a teacher. While seemingly a young woman looking to start a new career, Irina was reported to have troubles with her mental health. According to her family, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, the symptoms of which began to intensify following a breakup with her boyfriend. Despite the struggle, Irina's family stated she appeared to be coping well with the situation. When her father last saw her on October 10, 2004, he described her as her normal bubbly self. By the following evening, things took a dramatic spiral downwards. The night of October 11th, local residents Henry Woodhouse and his mother came across Irina as they were driving down the road. She appeared to be distressed, so they pulled over and offered to take her back to their house. In later testimony, Henry Woodhouse described Irina as appearing in a daze. She was only wearing underwear and boots. They claimed Irina told them she was given illicit substances and was in a bad state. Deeply worried, Henry agreed to allow Irina to stay the night in his home. While she did settle down in the guest room and accept a nightgown to wear, she soon became anxious and fled. Henry attempted to follow, but lost her in the darkness. Around 2 a.m., a couple were walking their dog following a bout of restlessness. During their excursion, they spotted Irina a few feet away, standing without clothing under a street light. The pair followed Irina from a distance before she suddenly ran. Despite attempts to follow, the couple...
Nah. Not me. First of all, why are y'all walking the dog at 2 a.m.? Go to sleep. Second of all, no stranger is sleeping in my house. I don't care what circumstances. I literally don't care if they're on the verge of death. I'm sorry, but no stranger is sleeping in my house. No stranger, let alone is even coming in my house. They ain't talk about sleeping. I'm good.
Lost sight of her as they approached the beach. They searched for a short time but were unable to locate her. Instead of calling the police, the couple returned home and went to bed. They would later say during an inquest they believed Irina was going for a night swim, and it was common for people to skinny dip in the ocean during the night. Not long after this final encounter, police were notified of Irina's disappearance, and a search was conducted. However, there has never been any trace of Irina found since she was last seen. The case took a rather drastic turn when investigators discovered Irina had phoned police earlier that night, stating she was in fear for her safety. She told the operator a man had been following her, taking photographs without her permission. In what remains a highly controversial move, police decided not to send a patrol car to her location, instead calling a taxi to where Irina said she was. According to testimony, police would often get such phone calls from people who were hoping to get a free ride back home.
Bro. Justice system failed once again, bro. They failed once again. Like, I understand, okay, people try to get free rides, okay, cool, whatever. You know, that's bad. But, bro, like, why would you take a chance? Why would you assume that they're lying so you don't send out someone to investigate? Like, justice system failed once again.
Furthermore, police gave the wrong location to the taxi company, and the driver never spotted Irina that night. This revelation caused outrage throughout New Zealand, particularly from Irina's family. 8 years following her disappearance, an inquest was opened regarding the case. The panel criticized Henry Woodhouse and the other couple for not calling police, stating this failure likely resulted in her not being found. It was the opinion of the inquest Irina likely drowned in the ocean. When presented to a higher court for review, the inquest findings regarding Henry and the couple were not to blame and based solely on speculation rather than concrete evidence. Other testimony provided was also dismissed, particularly the suspicion the use of substances led to Irina's uncharacteristic behavior. Today, Irina's disappearance remains the subject of controversy in New Zealand. Both professional and public opinion is in favor that the lack of action from local police was the main cause of her fate. Police even admitted they had an available patrol car in the area that could have responded to Irina's call, but failed to do so. As of 2026, Irina's ultimate fate is left entirely to speculation. A year after she vanished, her family organized a memorial service. While they accepted she was no longer alive, Irina's parents never gave up trying to find her. Further heartbreak would befall the Asher family in December 2022 when Irina's father Michael was reported missing after last being seen on Christmas Day. A search and rescue team scoured the area until January 2nd when Michael's body was found. A coroner performed an autopsy and found Michael had suffered a heart attack. The following year, Irina's mother Adrienne passed away from natural causes. What the Asher family endured is beyond tragedy, and yet the question that started it all still remains unanswered. There is still no clear explanation for what happened to Irina.
Dang. You know, like, there's like a myth of like where your family member like passes, you know, like it could be natural causes. Like a family member passes away or someone you're close to, like you actually like die inside. Like you actually have a heart attack because like you're so traumatized. Bro, he was probably so traumatized, man, and he was just so sick of looking and just couldn't deal with the guilt of losing his daughter that he couldn't help it, bro. Dang, bro. It's just sad that he didn't die of natural causes like the mother. Like he... Dang. Rest in peace to that whole family, man.
Like the other disappearances connected to Piha, the truth may never be known, and that was only the beginning. In a town of less than 10,000 people, multiple men vanished, and one name keeps resurfacing. Our next story takes us to the quiet town of Smiths Falls, south of Canada's capital. The streets look no different from other small communities in the surrounding area, but a dark cloud hangs over the town, something that has left many locals on edge. Robert Lambert was a 75-year-old man originally from the United States, but he settled in nearby Montague Township in 2004 to be with his future wife, Catherine. Described as loving and caring, Robert quickly formed a bond with Catherine's son, Jonathan. Since moving to the area, the couple lived in a single-story home on Kelly Jordan Road. For reasons not publicly known as of yet, Robert signed a co-ownership agreement with a man named Christopher Fenton in April 2018. 3 months later, Robert would simply vanish without explanation or reason due to his age and his requirement to take medication. Both family and authorities were deeply concerned for his well-being and established a search to locate him. During the initial rounds of questioning potential witnesses, an unknown source informed police Robert had returned to the United States. Going off this tip, investigators contacted the Canadian border only to find they had no records of Robert crossing. Furthermore, his family stated Robert needed assistance to travel, making his claimed solo venture improbable. Without any indication of his whereabouts, and with no new leads coming forward, the trail ran into a dead end. Our story would continue 4 years later in the fall of 2022. Lawrence Bertram was a 42-year-old long-term resident of Smith Falls. On the night of September 30th, Lawrence spent some time at another house before leaving on foot to return home, but he never made it back. Police searched cell phone records and found Lawrence's last ping was on Code Road, outside of the town limits. Despite a search of the area, neither Lawrence or any of his possessions were recovered. It was yet another strange instance of someone simply vanishing in the small town. But this wouldn't be the end of the story. Almost a year after Lawrence was last seen, police were notified 34-year-old Robbie Thompson had also gone missing. Robbie had a reputation as a gentle giant who had no disputes with anyone. His sudden disappearance was of great concern to his friends and family, as he was not the type of person to simply go somewhere without informing informing others of his destination. During their investigation, police discovered Robbie and Lawrence were well acquainted with one another. Whispers around town began to speculate that disappearances might be related, but police continued to investigate the two cases separately due to lack of evidence to the rumor. The rumor would later swarm into an all-out topic of gossip when another man, Stephen Tate, was reported missing on November 3rd, only a few weeks after Robbie disappeared. Officers of the Ontario Provincial Police searched the surrounding area, and patrol cars kept a close eye out during their rounds along the highway. Then came the grim discovery nobody was hoping for. On November 8th, 5 days after he was last seen, officers discovered the remains of Stephen lying in a ditch off Highway 15, just outside of Smith Falls. According to official findings, Stephen was the victim of a hit and run as he was walking along the road. No information could be found regarding if he possibly survived the initial impact and was left alone as the driver sped off. So far, all that has been revealed by investigators is the suspicion a black hatchback or sedan was involved in the incident. CCTV footage from a nearby home shows the suspect vehicle traveling in the direction Stephen was found. Around the same time, investigators determined he was struck. Since then, nobody has come forward with new information, and the black car was never found. To further amplify the heartbreak the town was experiencing, police conducted a search warrant in relation to Robbie Thompson's case in November 2025. As police scoured the property, they found the remains of a man who was later confirmed to be Robbie. 3 men were arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Among the suspects was none other than Christopher Fenton, the same man who co-owned Robert Lambert's property. It was on the same premises the remains of Robbie were found. Now the rumors all seem to connect with one another. Social media flooded with theories believing the missing persons and deaths were connected in some way. The most convincing theory is that Christopher Fenton was involved in Robert's, Lawrence's, and Robbie's fate. While it had long been established Robbie and Lawrence knew each other, it was discovered they knew Christopher as well. This can be explained away by the obvious. Smith Falls is a small community. It is one of those towns where everyone knows everyone. Sadly, the speculation has been seen by Lawrence's family, with theories swirling into gruesome tales about what may have happened to him. The rumor mill has also caused issues for investigators. Detectives and journalists have gone on record stating the amount of alleged secondhand information presented to them has led to many false leads, wasting resources which could have been used to follow actual clues. Furthermore, potentially valuable information gets lost in the swarm of gossip, making it difficult to determine which is a positive lead and which presents nothing of value. While the case of Stephen appeared to be a simple hit and run, a search of his home uncovered various illicit substances along with illegal weapons. This fueled the idea the cases could stem back to a dispute over substances, but these claims have been disputed by the families of Robert, Lawrence, and Robbie. Further into the speculation, there is now a great suspicion by the locals that Christopher was also responsible for Robbie's demise, with the motive seemingly falling on the aforementioned illegal substances. As of February 2026, Christopher and the other 2 suspects are in custody awaiting trial. As of now, they are only charged in connection to Robbie's case. As the years go by, and Christopher Fenton continues to await trial, the families of Robert and Lawrence have not given up hope their loved ones will be discovered eventually. Robert's case has since been transferred to homicide detectives, and it is unlikely he remains alive due to his age and lack of required medication. There is no definitive evidence to establish an actual connection between Christopher, Robert, Lawrence, and Robbie, but in a town as small as Smith Falls, the rumors have taken on a life of their own. Until new evidence comes forward, the truth remains unclear, and the dark cloud over Smith Falls continues to grow. Stay with me.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie. For all y'all Oklahoma, I'm sorry. I really just been watching this to see South Carolina. To be real. I mean, if y'all want me to react to Oklahoma, I'll do that in a separate, shorter video, but I gotta see this.
In one of South Carolina's safest small towns, women keep disappearing. Our final story takes us to Walhalla. This quiet town is surrounded by forests known for their beautiful scenery, especially in the fall. Statistics from 2021 show the town has a lower crime rate than both the rest of South Carolina and the United States as a whole. But despite its reputation for safety, something troubling has emerged here. Over the past 30 years, at least 5 prominent missing persons cases have been linked to Walhalla. Several young adults have also died under suspicious circumstances. The earliest of these cases is in relation to Jimmy Whitfield. Not much is known about Jimmy's early life, other than that he was a longtime resident of nearby Seneca. On March 7, 1987, Jimmy had an argument with his wife, which led him to pack a shirt and 2 pairs of jeans, then walk out of his house. 2 days later, he called home to see how his wife and kids were doing. This would be the last time anyone would hear from him. Unfortunately, not much information is available relating to Jimmy's case, but police have stated they believe foul play is involved. 2019 proved to be a difficult year for the people of Walhalla. Just the day after New Year's, 46-year-old Laura Ann Anders was last seen along Booknight Road in Mountain Rest, just a short drive north from Walhalla. Her husband left for Spartanburg that day and didn't return home until January 30th. When he arrived, Laura wasn't there. He waited a couple days, hoping she would show herself, but his concerns soon had him contact police to file a missing persons report. Laura did not have a cell phone, and when her husband asked her relatives if they knew anything, they all said she hadn't been heard from in nearly 3 weeks. It was as this investigation was getting started that another person was also being reported missing by their family. Pamela Roach was born and raised in Walhalla. During her childhood, she went go-karting with a friend on a dirt road when the pair were struck by a vehicle. The friend did not survive, and Pamela was left with a shattered leg and a traumatic brain injury. The incident left her with a metal plate in her head and difficulty walking. When Pamela was 23, she was asleep next to her partner and son when her baby rolled and crashed onto the floor. He suffered severe head injuries and tragically did not survive. The pain of losing one of her 2 children resulted in her developing addiction. This in turn led to her losing custody of her eldest son. By February 2019, Pamela was going from home to home, unable to find stable housing. On February 5th, she went with...
God, bro. Oh my, bro, for y'all to be saying, like, I know me, like, I'm not perfect mentally, but, bro, like, for y'all struggling with, like, all this depression and stuff, bro, like, just remember, y'all, most of y'all probably don't have it as bad as this, bro. Just remember that. Or just remember, it could always be worse, bro. One afternoon, you out, you playing outside with your friends, boom, get hit by a car. You seen your friend pass away right in front of your face. You end up with a broken leg and brain injury. Then you go to the doctor, get a metal plate infused. And then when you finally kind of get used to your daily life now, and you know what I'm saying, like you have kids, boom, your kid falls and has head injuries, passes away. You know what I'm saying? Now the guilt comes because you feel like you could have saved them and you let them down. Start going on them drugs, become homeless. Oh my God, bro. It's not even done. He ain't even finished the story. Oh my God. It's crazy, bro.
A friend to the mountains for a day hike, after which he dropped Pamela off at the corner of Coffee and Corey Roads, a short distance from where she was staying. Friends and family had no contact from her after, and following nearly a week with no word, Pamela's family reported her missing. The friend she was with that day, who has not been named by police or media, was questioned regarding her disappearance, but was cleared of any suspicion after passing a polygraph test. Since then, authorities and Pamela's family are continuing their efforts to locate her and determine if she is still alive. On January 29, 2020, police were given the name of another local woman who had not been seen or heard from for a worryingly long time. Tammy Stubblefield, age 51, was last seen on December 6 walking on Moore Avenue, which was a fair walk from her home. By this time, investigators began finding similarities in the cases of Laura, Pamela, and Tammy. As of 2026, investigators believe their disappearances are related and have even named a person of interest. Police revealed they were investigating a man named Kevin Mahler, commonly referred to as Boston. This came after a video appeared online capturing a conversation between 2 men. The details are rather graphic, but in the video, one of the men discusses how Boston revealed he was concerned about his DNA being discovered and, quote, "we'll all fry for it." He also made statements alluding to the possible dismemberment and concealment of body parts in order to erase evidence. In September 2025, Mahler was arrested in relation to possession charges after a search of his home found illicit substances. Furthermore, he was also charged in the death of a man named Kevin Craig. Boston was a career criminal, having been sentenced to prison in both 2019 and 2021. Both times he had been released early, but now he found himself once again before the court system. As of right now, no charges have been brought against Boston for the disappearances of Laura, Pamela, and Tammy, and it is believed the investigation is ongoing. However, without the location of the three women, any evidence is simply circumstantial and cannot be conclusively proven as of yet. For such an unassuming place, Valhalla does have a major problem. If you have any information regarding any of these cases, we urge you to contact the Oconee County Sheriff.
Jesus, man. Oh my God, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to all these people, man. This dude, we didn't even look at Oklahoma, but bro, this man listed at least probably like 20 deaths, bro. Rest in peace, dog. This is ridiculous. Just watch y'all back, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Just watch y'all back, bro. There's always somebody crazy out there. You feel me? There's like this little fact that I seen. It was a while ago. It just already stuck with me. But that we probably walk past, like 10 to 15 like criminals in our life. You know what I'm saying? I know me. I've dapped up a few guys and ended up going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be a couple feet away from a criminal, that's scary when you look back on it. You feel me? I know, I'll say 3 or 4 off the top of my head that I've, dapped up. I've been in the same room with, I was cool with. Man, y'all watch y'all back, man. For real. Scary out here. As you can see, people just don't care. It's different when it's in the moment. People just don't care. Like, comment, subscribe, man. All links in the description. Until next time, man. We out.